Hi there, friends. It's Leah with Pinkfresh. I am super happy to be back with you live. I am going to give this a minute and let you guys find us here while I get everything all set up on my phone and ready to go so I can see your comments as we go. Hi there, Heather. Heather is moderating the comments today. So she's my partner in crime. Hi, Kirsten. Thanks for joining me. Hi, Barb. Happy to have you guys here today. And Diane from Rainy, Georgia, and Tiffany. Awesome. All right. It seems like you guys are finding us today. We are going to do a fun floral card today featuring a stamp layering set that we actually released last year. And we'll get into that here in just a minute, a little bit more. But I did get my voice back, Diane, thankfully. So it was good to have a little bit of a rest from that, but I had a great time on my little girls trip and it was well worth it. So it is not rainy in my neck of the woods. It's actually just hot. But we have had a little bit of a reprieve from this hot weather here and there. And we're getting that preview that fall is coming, which I'm super excited for. And, ducking for cover from the people that want to throw all of their crafting supplies at me right now because I'm ready for fall, but to each their own, I guess. So we have a blog hop and an Instagram hop going on right now. Our brand new fall paper collection, The Best Day, which might be why I'm in such a fall mood right now because I've been creating things with our fall collection. Anyway, it is now available in our shop for purchase. And so to celebrate, we thought our paper collections deserve as much celebration and inspiration as our card making releases do. So we are doing a blog hop and an Instagram hop celebrating this new paper collection. So you can see the new collection in our shop. You can catch the blog hop information on our scrapbooking blog. There's a video here on our YouTube channel that go over all of the different products, and there's chances to win. And then of course over on Instagram. So lots of different ways. There's lots of prizes to win. And just lots of inspiration to be seen. So definitely check that out. So before I get this camera flipped over and we get going, I am going to remind you that we give away a $15 gift card code at the end of every live. Heather will pick the winner from our comments. So just do what you're doing now. Leave comments in the chat section. Now, just a reminder, I probably only see about 10% of the comments once I flip the camera around and get going. Heather's really great about capturing as many comments and questions that come through as she can. But if we happen to not catch your question, just ask it again. We're not ignoring you. We likely just missed it. And then one other way that you can earn an entry into winning that $15 gift card code is there is a share button underneath this video. Click that button, share it in an email with a friend. You can share it on your Facebook page. You can share it in a Facebook group that allows it. Just make sure it's allowed. And then just come back here and let us know that you shared. Now, one more thing before I flip the camera around. We did announce yesterday that registration will go live on Friday morning for our upcoming Create and Connect virtual event. We are super excited for this event. This is a card making themed event. And we did a little announcement on both our Facebook page and our Instagram feed. So if you haven't seen that yet, definitely head over and check that out. We introduced all of the instructors for the event, which includes me and Heather, and then also Carissa Wiley, who I see just joined, and Emily Midget and Laura Basson. So some heavy hitters there. I think you guys are going to have a really wonderful time if you plan to come to Create and Connect. Now, there's not a lot of information out about it yet. This was just a little sneak peek. All of the information that you need will go live on Friday morning at 7 a.m. We are doing a detailed description of the event so that you can make the best decision for you if it is something that you would like to attend. Okay, friends, I think I've gotten through all of the logistics stuff. Let's go ahead and get this camera flipped around so that we can get going on our card today. All right, I'm going to let Instagram, or excuse me, YouTube catch up with me. I've got Instagram on my brain apparently. Catch up with me so I can make sure that everything looks all right on my phone. So while I'm waiting for that to catch up, we are going to focus on this stamp set that we released last year. Now, this was a collaboration that we did with Altenew called Celebrate. And it was a paper collection that had both 12 by 12 and 6 by 6 papers. It had a die cut ephemera pack, and then 2 stamp sets and 2 die sets. And we are going to focus on the Celebrate Us stamp set today. The stamp has been out of stock for a little while, but it is now back in stock. And so we thought we would revisit it because it's a really beautiful stamp layering set that's actually quite simple to use. So I'm super excited that you guys are excited about the upcoming Create and Connect event. We'd love to hear that. And we are really excited to share all of the details with you too. So stay tuned for Friday. If you don't get our email, you might want to sign up for it because we will send out a lot of information via email marketing bright and early in the morning. But of course, we will also link it up everywhere else that we can. So no fear there. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab our stamping platform and let's get going on this fun card. So we're going to stamp our flowers first. And so I'm actually going to get some of these inks out of my way so that my Misty door can fully open. Someone is asking, will the event be limited on people numbers? No, it will just be open for a limited time. So I think we're keeping registration open for a solid 2 weeks. I think it's actually ends up being a little bit over 2 weeks. It encompasses basically 3 weekends and then all of those weeks. So we are not limiting registration numbers, just registration time. So you really should be fine with that. Okay, before we get going, sorry, I'm just going to get going here. So this stamp has the beautiful outline flower and then all of the pieces to stamp layer on the inside. Now my stamp is seasoned beautifully already because I've used this stamp set a ton. If you were using this fresh out of, brand new packaging, I would suggest putting each of your solid pieces onto your Misty window and then rubbing them over with just a pink eraser a couple of times, wiping off in between. And that just seasons your stamp. It removes any type of residue that was, can be left behind from the manufacturing process. It gets rid of that shine, which sometimes makes it really hard for the ink to disperse onto that stamp. So that is the way that I season. You can season your stamps in any way you see fit. That is just what I have found has worked best for me. So in my sample, when just making sure, giving myself a little refresher on this, I stamped this in detail black, but I think I'm going to change my mind a little bit for my card today. And I think we're going to heat emboss the outline in gold. So let's go ahead and get going on that because I've got a little bit that needs to get done. And I do remember I have to grab my heat gun real quick. Give me a second so that that's not out of my way when I go to heat set everything. So give me 1 second here, friends, while I get it plugged in. Sorry about that, guys. It's the joy of having been away working remotely for a couple of weeks. I don't have everything quite put away. Okay, looks like Henry has joined us. Hey there. happy you're hanging out with me today on live. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get this outline layer stamped. I always stamp a couple of times with embossing ink just to make sure I'm getting a good impression. It's probably fine, but I just like to have peace of mind there. Okay. I'm excited that you guys have this stamp and you're excited to see it in action. That's awesome. Hello, Anne. Happy you could join us today. Okay, so let's do this. So we're going to do this. I'm going to cover in embossing powder and then, oh, and I got lucky because I totally forgot to prep this with a heat or with a powder tool. I'll make sure I do that on the next round. But I got a little lucky because I think it's fine. That's on the outside, so not a big deal. Okay, give me a minute while this heat sets. I will not talk while it heat sets because Zoom tends to do this weird muting / garbled sound. Michelle is asking me what I'm using on when I push my my Misty tool over my stamping platform tool. It's actually just a like a sweatband, like an arm sweatband that a friend gave me, and it just helps me apply a little bit more even pressure. Okay, so what I'm going to say is, so I did it. You can fit 2 of these beautiful flowers on one 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 sheet if you just place them right. And all you have to do is flip them around and then just make sure you don't have your magnets in the way. And then you can get 2 of these lovely flowers done at the same time. Now, I got lucky that first go around, but let's go ahead and prep this with some powder to make sure that this time around I don't get powder stuck in any direction or in any place that I don't want the embossing powder to stick. I know it's kind of cool that Zoom does mute some things, although I feel like sometimes it makes some weird kind of garbled sounds as it does. But yes, don't you in real life feel like you could mute your heat gun or your electronic die cutting machine because they're so loud? All right. From my past on the tennis pro circuit. Oh yeah. We'll pretend that that's true. Whoa, sorry, that was my dogs. Okay, all righty, I think we're good to go there. So one more time, we're going to cover this in some gold embossing powder and then I'll heat set it real quick. And then we will get going on the stamp layering part of these beautiful flowers. All right, and even better luck that time. I don't have any excess powder lying around, but I do see a little area where I didn't get very good coverage. All right, much better. Okay. So I'm just going to get some things put away and then we'll get to heat setting this lovely floral image. All right, one more time with the loud heat gun. So we have our beautiful heat embossed flowers, nice and gold. I'm gonna get this flower, the outline flower, cleaned off here real quick because we still need to use our Misty because that's how we will finish adding in the stamp layers. And I see that Dee has joined us while I was heat setting. So happy to have you here today, friend. I'm glad you could make it and hang out with us today. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and put this guy back down into the corner, and we're going to focus on one layer at a time. So we'll start off with this first big layer, which is the majority of the flower. Now, I find that this stamp is relatively easy to line up for the layering. I know sometimes layering stamps seem a little complicated, but this one, you've got these little indentations inside the flowers that kind of line up perfectly, which make it really easy to line up the area where it goes. So for this first one, we are going to stamp it in Ballet Slipper. Now you'll maybe even can notice here that my stamp layer is really prepped. You can see it's dull, it's not shiny anymore, and that just means that it is seasoned and ready to take ink. And the way that I did that, which I explained earlier, but just in case you're just joining us, is when this stamp set was new, I just rubbed over the stamp a few times with a pink eraser, cleaning in between each layer. Super simple to do, and helps season your stamp super easily. Now, of course, there's lots of different ways out there to do it. That just happens to be my preferred method. So I'm using Ballet Slipper for this first layer, so I'm going to stamp it twice because it is so light, and I want to be able to see it a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that twice. Now I'm going to wipe this off because we're going to do a different color for the second flower. But because of the way that I stamped this the first time and set it up, this will automatically line up perfectly with that second flower. So it makes it super easy to do multiples of these flowers if you're wanting to do multiple flowers. All right, so I am going to do this next set in Sparkling Rose for the first layer. Oh, Carol, that's a great idea. If you're struggling with card mojo or inspiration, die cutting out our washi tape is a great idea. I also, if I am like struggling with inspiration or mojo issues or whatever, I tend to just ink blend. Like I'll grab a couple of layering stencil sets that I haven't used in a while or haven't used at all, and I will just ink blend like crazy. All right, so as you can see, we've got a darker flower and a lighter flower going on. Now you might notice that the stamp layering isn't perfect when it's stamping over embossing over an embossed line, and that's just because you're kind of interfering in a way with the stamp, but it stamps it enough, and I like the look of the embossing so much that is not a huge deal to me. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the next layer of the flower stamp. So this is just a detail layer, and same as before, it's got some great indentations in it to give you an idea of where these details go. So there's one right here down at the base that helps you line it up. And then in the middle, you'll also see, and those are the two really great places to line it up to make sure. And then you'll just want to check and make sure that all of those detail layers are within the flower. And those are the three things that I check before I start to stamp. Oh, I'm sorry to hear, Stacy, that you broke your foot. Oh, that is awful. I really hope that you are okay. Okay, so this was my darker flower, which we're starting with next. So I'm going to go ahead and use Regal Kiss, which is the darkest purple. So yes, I am combining pinks and purples in these flowers. Now, are there these actual type of flowers out in the wild? No, probably not. But that is the beauty of card making. You can make them whatever colors you want. Now, this bold, dark one is going to go more in the background. So it's going to just be a beautiful, bold piece that just kind of pops out from behind the lighter one. So if you're looking at it and you're thinking, oh my goodness, that is dark and bold, never fear. It's going to be fantastic. Okay. And also keep in mind that these inks, as they dye the paper and settle into the paper, they do smooth out and they do kind of calm down. And oops, I did not mean to do that. Okay, that's okay. Normally, if I hadn't removed that stamp, I would have just flipped it around, but I was not thinking and I went ahead and pulled it off. So let's just line it up again really quickly. And do this again. Catherine is asking if there, the paper can move underneath your magnets when you're using larger stamps like this. And I would say that yes, that is a possibility, but more so when the stamps are unseasoned. So when they're a little bit stickier. So my stamps are, oops, we're going to go ahead and use Candy Violet for this second layer. My stamps are so well seasoned that they're not as sticky on the fronts as they are when you first pull them off of that acetate and use them. So I do notice that happens when my stamps are new. Just, ooh, I think my magnet was in the way of that. Let's stamp that down one more time. There we go. So just if your stamps are newer, just make sure you're always butting your paper into the corner of your MISTI. So even if it does move on you a little bit, as long as you adjust it and shove it back down in that corner, it should be totally fine. Someone's asking what I use to wipe my stamps off. This is just a wet microfiber cloth that I'm using today. Kim, the name of this stamp set is called Celebrate Us. Just for reference there. Okay, so we finished up those detail layers. So let's go ahead and do the leaves next. So we're going to start with the bigger set of leaves over on the left side of the flower. And for these ones, I'm going to stamp them in Storm, and they're going to be the same on both flowers so that we get some consistency between the two flowers. So I am definitely feeling fall vibes. I think that I'm a little inspired by our new paper collection that just released, and that's where my color palettes are coming from. But I'm kind of digging this whole pink and purple and blue thing right now. So you will notice that the layer does not cover in the leaves completely. It's just a detail. So the rest of your leaf will stay either white or whatever the color is underneath that you stamped your image on. So I'm going to use the same color. I'm going to go ahead and do these in Storm, like I mentioned previously. Okay. And I really feel like once you get the leaves in here, that the flowers just start coming together super well. Lori, it is Leah. Maybe my voice is still recovering from my girls' weekend. Not completely sure. Okay, so that was the larger leaf layer. Now let's do that smaller one. Up next here. And these leaf layers are super easy to layer or align with the image. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and stamp in Slumber. It's a little bit lighter blue. These blues are not in the same color family, but I think that they work really beautifully together. So definitely keep that in mind. I did not align those super well, but that's okay. We'll try it again on the next one, actually. And maybe I'll just make sure those ones are hidden. And that's another thing. If you ever, make a mistake and you're at the end of your stamp layering, something that you can do is find a way to maybe hide the little mistake you've made when you go and put your card together. So then all of the time that you spent getting that card done is not wasted. Okay, so one more leaf layer here, and then we just have the flower centers, and then we are good to go. That one lined up much better. So thankfully that is on the flower that's going to be in the front. Oh, that was my Cocker Spaniel. She is just saying hi. Her name is Sadie. Not completely sure what she's barking at, but okay. All right. And then finally, we have our little flower center here. It's a small little added detail, but I think it adds a lot to the image. And we're going to go ahead and stamp this one in Marigold, which is the darkest of our yellows. And it's just a nice little pop in that center. Go ahead and flip it around. Hi, Deborah. I see you're joining us for the first time. We're happy that you're here. Happy you found us. Okay. All right. We are officially done stamp layering. So let's go ahead and put the stamp away. And then we'll go ahead and get pieces all die cut. All right. My Misty can be put away for now. We got to stamp a sentiment here in a minute. But so the set also comes with coordinating die. It has a standalone word die on it as well. But I am going to actually pull a sentiment from a different stamp set for today, which we'll get into later. So yes, Lori is saying how much she loves the layering stencils, but that she needs to do some work with her stamp layering. And we totally get that. We are, we focus a lot on the layering stencils too, but then we tend to forget that we have these beautiful stamp layering sets. So we wanted to definitely revisit this set now that it is back in stock. I think that Daniel jumped on. So hello, Daniel. Happy to have you here today. All right. So we've got the one flower cut out. And then let's go ahead and get that second flower cut out too. All right. Thank you, Lori. That's very sweet. Ooh, kind of looks like maybe some of my ink transferred onto my die cut panel here. That's okay. We'll keep going for today, but I will probably end up redoing that flower, so I may not attach it super permanently just because I see where some ink got onto my flower there, and I'm not super excited about that happening, but that's okay. It will work out for here anyway. Okay, so we've got our 2 flowers done, and basically that darker flower is going to just peek out ever so slightly underneath the lighter flower, which I think will be really fun. Okay, so we need to get a sentiment stamped. So I am going to be using a sentiment from the Known and Loved stamp set today. And I have, so first things first, I have a panel that is pre-cut from our Essential Stitch Rectangle. That's going to be my background, and what I think we're likely going to stamp our sentiment directly to. I also have pre-cut some circles from the Stitched Scallop Circle die set in different colors, because I like to have these layered up frames. And so the general feel of our card is we're going to have these beautiful flowers here, and then our sentiment will go somewhere in here. So need to grab my Misty out again. And we're going to basically use this as a guide for placing the sentiment. Okay. And I will push that over into the corner in a moment. But let me just do a little bit of fussing here. So I have a general idea of how I want these flowers to be on here. Okay, so then I need to figure out which sentiment I want to use. I know I want to use, I think, the "You Are Generous" sentiment. Yeah, so let's grab that out of here. Looks like you guys are having a great time in comments. I love that. Love seeing you all chat with each other. I wish I could chat along a little bit easier, but sometimes you have to focus. Oh, thank you, Amy. I'm glad you like the 2 circles. That's what we love about this die set is you get that great color blocking opportunity with it. Okay, so I think I like generous there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the pieces that I was using. Let's make sure. And there is the sticking that you see, because I haven't used these sentiments as much. So what I'm going to do now is, now I don't know that I've used the generous word from this sentiment, and it is fairly solid. So I am going to rub my pink eraser over it a couple times. I'm going to wipe it off in between. And then this stamp should be seasoned enough to take ink well. One more time. Someone is asking me, it looks like someone's asking if there's a wreath in the stamp set that I'm using for my sentiment. And yes, this one is called Known and Loved. It's got this beautiful outline wreath, which also has a set of layering stencils. I'll just show that to you real quick, which allows you to create a wreath that looks like this. So we're not using the wreath today, just one of the beautiful sentiments from it. But yes, the Known and Loved stamp set is a full image with layering stencils and a coordinating die to cut out that wreath. Okay, so now that that is all prepped and ready, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to actually ink this up with Regal Kiss, which is that darkest shade of purple. I contemplated using black, but I decided that I would really love to focus on that really great deep purple that I've kind of used in different places on the card. That actually got a pretty good impression, but I'm going to just stamp it one more time. So Michelle is asking what the eraser does to the stamp. And essentially it gets any particles or dust or anything that were left behind in the manufacturing process. And it also dulls that sheen, which makes it a little bit harder to get ink to disperse as perfectly, especially dye ink. You know, pigment inks or more hybrid-based inks, not a big deal, but all dye inks have a little bit harder time if this stamp isn't prepped with getting a good even coverage. So that is the point behind that. And so then there is also this great UR included in this stamp set. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that one, and I'm going to put my circles back up just to make sure that I don't I don't accidentally put the sentiment in a place where the circle might overlap. But I think I'm just going to actually put it right up next to the sentiment here, like this. And then I just want to make sure that this looks nice and straight, which it does. And I am going to heat emboss this part of the sentiment in gold. So I'm going to go ahead and powder generously in that area, especially over that dye ink, just because it does dry quickly, but not that quickly. So we want to try to avoid getting as much powder on the generous portion of the sentiment as possible. All right, I'm going to stamp that one more time. Thank you, Chantal. I appreciate that. Catherine, I am not completely sure if washing the stamp set would do what it needs to do. I think the eraser, the actual like erasing of that really gets stuff off that can be stuck on there, and really does help like prep the stamp and get it ready. So I have heard people say that if you just use like embossing ink to prep it, that works as well. So there's a couple of different options. Some people just rub like their hand over them and put like the oils from your skin on it. So I think there's a lot of different ways. My preference is just with the pink eraser. Okay, let's go ahead and get that on there. And then I am just going to, because it never fails, even when you prep really well, you get a little bit of powder stuck to the word. So I want to make sure that that's not on there when I go to heat set. All right, I think we're good. I think I got it all off. Perfect. Oh, thank you, Chantel. I'm glad you like the added heat embossing to the sentiment with the purple. I thought it was a nice touch and kind of ties in that gold circle that we're going to add to the card here in a little bit. We've got one more time to heat set here. So it's going to get a little loud once I get this stamp set put away. Oh no, apparently Dee bought 12 pink erasers from Amazon. You could have just gone to Target and gotten a 2-pack. That's what I did. Okay, one more time for a little bit of loudness here. There we have our really lovely sentiment. Super fun. I love that you can, there's all of these fantastic words in this known and loved stamp set that you can partner with, that you are beautiful words: worthy, significant, generous, beautiful, known and loved, brave, never alone, strong, my friend. Tons of great options in that really modern, lovely font that you've come to love from Pinkfresh. So many great sentiments in that that set there. So it's about time to start getting this card put together. So I wanted to mention, I am unsure if you guys can hear this in my background or not, but it seems that someone in the general vicinity of my home recently got a new guitar, like some kind of guitar. I don't know if it's like a bass guitar or whatever. It's definitely one that you plug in. And so bless their hearts, from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m., they play this guitar all day long. So hopefully if you can hear it, you're enjoying it. If you can't hear it, good for you. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start getting this card put away. So I have just gone ahead and pre-done a panel of foam tape. This is just some white craft foam that I have used 5-inch score tape on to create just that nice full panel. It helps, especially since I heat embossed on this image, it also helps kind of flatten it out, and hopefully won't look too bumpy when I go and adhere it to the front of the card here. I can see where there's a little indentation that isn't quite perfect, but that's okay. Well, Lori, hopefully they're working on getting really good. For the most part, I can drown it out or put something on and not hear it, but it is definitely all day long, which I'm not used to. This is a new thing ever since coming home from Texas this time around. And it's funny that I'm talking about it. It makes me, it's like, man, you really are an old fuddy-duddy, Leah, because back in the day, it wouldn't, like, it's not even a big deal to me now. It's just kind of funny. It's like all day long. Okay. All right. So this is what the circles are going to look like. So I'm going to adhere them down one at a time, starting with the darker purple, the larger one. And I'm just going to use some dots of liquid glue to adhere down. You can really use any type of glue you prefer for this. I just like liquid glue because it gives me a little of extra time to move it around and make sure that it's right where I want it to be. So these circles are a little large, so they overlap the sides a little bit. So I want to make sure they don't overlap too far. So I'm going to be extra mindful of that. Oops. I see it's not wanting to stick down there very well. Okay, so there is circle number 1. Now let's go ahead and do circle number 2, which is the gold circle. Glad you guys are enjoying the card today. Okay. And then finally, let's tuck that one in here. So I don't know if you can tell on camera, but you'll notice that the gold circle has a little bit more dimension than the purple. And that's just because I cut multiple layers and added them to that. My husband is just arriving home. So if my dogs get a little barky, that's the reason why. Okay, so there is the start of our card. So now let's go ahead and kind of add some dimension to our flowers just by fluffing them a little bit. Someone's asking if this is shimmer paper in the larger one. No, it's just like a textured cardstock that's in that kind of eggplanty purple color. So the gold is not shimmery, but it's like a matte foil in a way, I guess. But no, the purple is just a standard textured cardstock. Oh, thank you, Beth. I appreciate that. Okay. So then we're just going to kind of peek that darker flower out from behind the lighter colored flower. So let's go ahead and add some glue to the back of this guy. And all that glue probably won't get used, but I'm just being generous so that there is glue right where I want it to set down. Okay. Oh, thank you, Donna. I appreciate that. Thank you, Gail. Thanks, Julie. Yeah, my barky little dogs. Okay. Oh, Sadie did earlier. I'm not sure what. Okay. Actually, there we go. That's better. Ah, sometimes it just takes a minute to find that right spot for everything, doesn't it? Okay. And there we go. And then that fits right in there better. Someone's asking about this being available in the UK. You know, we don't know all of the people that stock our products in the UK, but we certainly do ship to the UK. So if it's something you want, you can definitely order it from our shop. Okay. All right. Thank you, Tiffany. Okay, friends, we are just going to let that glue set a little bit, and then it is time to add a little bit of bling. Michelle, I actually did not use foam dots on the second flower, just because after fluffing it and just by layering on top of that other flower, I feel like it has plenty of dimension and it doesn't really need any foam dots added to it. Okay, let's go ahead and grab some jewels. So we're going to grab these yellow jewels and we're going to first add some jewels to the flower centers. And I think we're just going to add, oops, some smaller ones to it. Let me see if I actually like this first. Just kind of right in a row here. There we go. Just do like these nice little triangles in the middle. Perfect. Okay, so there is that first one. Let's go ahead and grab, we may not need that many in the flower that you can't really see very well. So I also think that these flowers would look really beautiful covered in glitter, but that would have just been really messy. So, but something to think of, especially like, you know, I kind of made a little mistake here and there on these flowers. And so I could have also fixed that by just covering it in glitter and you would have never seen it. It's another option. Okay, there's that. Oops. Definitely love adding bling and sparkle. That's definitely a signature accent to any card. Ooh, shoot. I'm just making a mess over here of yellow gems, aren't I? Oh, that's awesome. Fire 43. I don't know if I said that right, but that will be an exciting birthday gift. All right, so I went a little heavy on the glue because I'm gluing this down to heat embossing. But even though it does kind of pop out of the gems a little bit, it will dry clear. So I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, Michelle, we'll see one day. Maybe I'll brave the glitter tutorial one day. All right. But I'm not quite finished because I feel like we at least need a couple more jewel accents here and there. But I think I might go ahead and also grab out our metallic gold pearls and mix them in. Whoa, mix them in with some of these beautiful gems. Okay, Margot, perfect. Hopefully I will remember that, but I will mention that I am not super great about remembering stuff like that, but I will certainly try. Okay, so let's do a bigger gold pearl and then kind of a mid-sized purple and then a small little light pink. Oh yeah, that's a cute trio. I like that trio. And then I think we need to do one more over here and we will call it good. Okay. Okay, move this up actually over, move the purple up, grab, put the little pink one right there. Okay. Bye, Dee. So glad you could join us today. That's funny. Putting your dogs to work doing inventory. I don't know that mine would be very efficient at that, even if they had them. All right, so let's go ahead and glue these down and then we are done. Okay, so that is our card for today. I'm excited about how it turned out. You never know because sometimes, you know, I mostly wing it on these things, so I don't have like a total plan, but I do think it turned out wonderfully. Oh yeah, and someone's asking, this is the Studio Cartier embellishment one. You can also use a crystal katana, and then there are lots of jewel picker type tools out there. You can do a Google search or a search on Amazon as well. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining me today. That is my card. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to get this camera flipped around and we will wait for Heather to pick the winner. All right, so don't forget Friday, we our Create and Connect virtual event registration will go live. We're super excited for this event. We hope you guys are too. We have put a lot of planning work into it and we're still doing a lot of work on it. So we're super excited and we hope you are too. And we hope that for those of you that it makes sense for, that you will join us for that event. The event date is November 6th and 7th. It's a Saturday and a Sunday. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed the card and the hour we just got to hang out together. I had a lot of fun with you guys as well. So I'm super happy. And it looks like we have a winner. Congratulations to Catherine Wingfield Yates. You won today's $15 gift card. Congratulations. So just send me an email. My email is leah@pinkfreshstudio.com. There is no H on the end of my name, so it is just LEA@pinkfreshstudio.com. Give me 2 to 3 days, business days to answer because I do get quite a few emails, and I will get that gift card code sent right over to you so you can do a little bit of shopping. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me today. We will be back on Thursday for Facebook Live with Heather. And I believe we have YouTube Live on Friday, a scrapbooking YouTube Live on Friday with Natalie. So we've got a few different live options for you this week. Other than that, that's everything I have for you. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday, and hopefully we will see you Thursday. Bye.